little bit about discovery and 302s in particularly. Now, when you hear 302, some people who aren't familiar, they're not really sure what that is. Basically, to put it simply, they have what's called proffer sessions. When you decide to sit down with the government and you want to entertain making a deal and becoming an informant, you have to give them information. So they set up a proffer session. During those proffer sessions, everything that you say is recorded in the form of a 302. It's like memorialized. Basically, it's notes made of the meeting. The agents involved dictate what was said and they write it down. Which, I tell you the truth, I have a problem a little bit with that process. As far as just accuracy. Ideally, you would figure that would be recorded. You would want the recordings of that just to make sure everything that was said was properly documented and memorialized. I mean, it's a little scary that you have to just hope that they captured everything, and it's just a little concerning because I'm not saying that they do it intentionally. There could even be like human error where they don't capture something maybe the informant says that could be helpful to the defendant, or maybe conflicting accounts, because they do a lot of different sessions. They'll have, when they're working with an informant, when they're getting ready for trial, they'll have a lot of sessions where they have 302s on those sessions. So you want to always go through them and see if anything changes, and you want to look for details, see if they change names. Just cross-check it for accuracy as you're diving into the analysis phase of preparing for trial and trying to understand the informants they may have and what information they're saying, what's lies, what may be truth that could be hurtful to your defendant. So you want to just have the accuracy. And one would just figure that nowadays that would all be recorded, and there'd be a much more systematic way of ensuring everything's accurate. But I got to tell you, one reason I wanted to talk about this, on the last case I was on, and I wish I could show them, but I can't because it's a protective order, but it's amazing. Probably thousands of pages total between all the different informants, 302s. When we were going through them, you wouldn't believe how many of those pages were actually handwritten notes. And I think accidentally on purpose, the handwriting was horrible. So it took so much time to really go through these individual notes and try to understand what you were reading, because the handwriting is horrible. And I'm really not one to talk. I have terrible penmanship, but I type everything out. And again, you would figure there'd be a systematic way where everything has to be typed. And I'll tell you the advantage of when it's typed. When you have a typed document, you could then convert it to OCR, character recognition. And what that allows you to do is you could search the document for keywords. So if you have thousands of documents, I'm going to give you an example where what I'm saying, you'll understand why it makes sense. Say you have a case with 7-8 defendants, right? And everybody's going through all the different 302s, and you want to divvy it up. Say you want to divvy it up to different teams, and everybody wants to focus on their defendant when they're reading the 302s. Anything that relates to their defendant, they want to pull it out. Now, if you're able to OCR it and you're able to convert it where you could, basically what that means is you're converting the document. If you pull the image up, PDF, Adobe has the ability to convert that document where it recognizes each character on that page. So you could then search all the different words. And that comes in very handy because if you want to search names, if you're trying to find your defendant's names and you just want to allocate and separate the 302s that pertain to your client, if you want to put them in a folder, it really improves the production rate of being able to do that if you could do it electronically from searches and from scans. When you have to go through handwritten notes, that's like chicken scratch. You can't do that. So what may take you a whole day going through one informant's 302s based on the poor penmanship, if it was typed up, you may be able to get it done in a couple hours. And I really think that's on purpose because there's no reason for that. Again, we're in 2022. There's no reason these things should be handwritten chicken scratch notes. That's all on purpose, because there's some words you can't even make out. You don't know what they're talking about. You have to go back and forth and try to clarify. It just delays things, and it makes the process 10 times harder. And a lot of defense